welcoming you all to a brand new episode of the Cricket Rockstar Plus show. And tonight, for the first time in several months, the Cricket Rockstar Plus show is live. Live. My dear friends, please, I'm begging all of y'all to tune into the live stream. Why? Because we have Champions League football to talk about, so as the IPL final, which is tomorrow, and the first Pakistan versus Australia One Day International, which took place today. First of all, my name is Tyrell Ordine, your handsome cricket rock star, coming to you right here from my bedroom. First and foremost, let me send a shout out to all of my friends out there who are watching the show, and also to my fellow Trimbagonians, who I must say, or should I say, a shout out to my fellow Trimbagonians who enjoyed Indian Arrival Day today. Yes, today, Saturday, was a public holiday. And huge shout out to the East Indian community who I know for a fact would have had a wonderful day today, remembering the day where the fatal Razak docked right here in Trinidad and Tobago in 1845, which was over a century, which was almost 2 centuries ago, I must say. Also, shout outs as well to all of those who observe the public holiday as well. So, without further ado, my dear friends, let's get on with it. So, first of all, we are starting in Budapest, Hungary, where the 2026 UEFA Champions League final between Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal delivered an absolute classic. Let me tell you why. First of all, the first 90 minutes of the final, honestly, let me be very honest, was very boring. So was extra time, where both teams was playing with a lot of caution. But the penalty shootouts was the most tenseful, exciting part. But in the end, the Parisians have gone back-to-back UEFA Champions League champions. This is after the French champions, following a dramatic 4-3 penalty shootout over English champions Arsenal, defeated them in what was a dramatic penalty shootout that literally had everyone on the edge of their seats, and it was very tense. But you have to spare for the English Premier League against Arsenal, because throughout the entire match they were in complete control of possession. Then came the dreaded penalty shootouts, where they absolutely struggled. I mean, they missed 2 penalty shots. The third one, or should I say the second one, and the final one, which went across the bar. But overall, the penalty shootouts, let me be very honest, it broke their hearts and their supporters' hearts in a heartbreaking way, to say the least. But once again, nevertheless, it was a terrific game of football on the whole, which became very exciting at that point when it came down to the shootout. But you have to feel for the Gunners. As I just said, they had complete control all throughout the 90 minutes and extra time, despite scoring 1 goal and conceding a goal in the second half. But on the whole, the Parisians, many congratulations to them once again for going back to back. But this time they had to fight like hell, because the last UEFA Champions League final they had won last year was a one-sided affair. But this time around, the game itself, as I just said earlier on, was very boring in the first 90 minutes, all the way into extra time. But as I just said, it got very tense when it came down to the penalty shootout. But let's start from the very first half. Arsenal, they signaled their intent very early on, with Kai Havertz finding the back of the net in the 6th minute of the match, putting the Londoners in the driver's seat. It was a dream start for the Gunners, who looked composed and ready to manage the pressure on what was a massive occasion for the Red Gunners. However, in the second half, PSG's resilience under the coach Luis Enrique became the hallmark. As the match progressed, their possession-based style began to wind down Arsenal's defense block. However, the turning point came in the 65th minute, in the middle of the second half, when a clumsy challenge inside the box resulted in a penalty, and that is where Dembele slotted it into the net to level the scores. And it remained the same way throughout the rest of the second half and into extra period, where both teams honestly played with extreme caution and wary of a couple of decision errors. Yes, there was a couple of mishaps from the referees. There was a potential handball which should have been given to Paris Saint-Germain, I think, in the first half. And then and then late in extra time, there was a penalty call that should have been given to the Gunners. But on the other hand, let me just say this, folks, in an unbiased way, both PSG and Arsenal, to say the least, the referee did rob them of just a couple of calls. And I'm saying this and the reason why I'm saying that 2 calls was missed by the referee, because you can see there was a clear penalty in PSG's net late in the second half, and that handball, which should have been a penalty for the Parisians in the first half, because after the game I actually saw one referee giving his analyst on Instagram stating that it was a clear handball. But in the end, referees, whether it's football or basketball or even in college football, love to rob teams in a big way. You have the technology there, but you don't want to use the technology. You want to use the old-fashioned way. But nevertheless, despite those calls missed, let's fast forward to the penalty shootout, because the match was deadlocked at 1 goal apiece, which pushed the title push into the sudden death shootout. And I must say that penalty shootout was, without a doubt, the fine margins of elite football was shown on that occasion. PSG's composure under pressure proved superior as they converted, I beg your pardon, crucial kicks just at the right time. Incidentally, they did miss one penalty shot in the middle of the shootout, but that did not stop their goalkeeper from saving 2 critical shots. One in Arsenal's second penalty kick, and the final one, which went across the bar, which made them champions for the second year in a row. That is where the Arsenal's heartbreak was sealed, when Gabriel Gales, his effort went over the cross line, and that is where the wild celebrations began for the Parisians. It was a historic repeat for Paris Saint-Germain, which solidifies their position not just as French champions, but UEFA champions once again. They not only won League One, they even won the French Cup. So did the Champions League to win yet another treble, just like last year. And it goes to show that the Parisians, despite the fact they have moved on from aging players like Lionel Messi, Neymar, and also their very own Kylian Mbappe, who opted to go to Real Madrid. This is a very young side that, in my view, is going to win a lot more titles along the line. But again, spare for the Red Gunners. They almost won the treble. They missed out on winning FA Cup and the English League Cup this year, but they've had a wonderful season overall. It's not about winning European titles. It's about winning the big one. I was very happy for them when they won the Premiership just over a week ago. It's all part of the game. You win some, you lose some, and that's how life is. You have to win some games, you have to lose some, whether it's in a heartbreaking way or in a disappointing way. So moving away from Europe, moving away from Hungary, all the way to Pakistan now. That is where the first Bank Al Falam KFC ODI between Pakistan and Australia began today at the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium, where men in green took a 1-0 lead in the series following a convincing 5-wicket triumph over the defending World ODI champions. The story of the day for Pakistan was 21-year-old left-arm all-round spinner Arafat Minhas. Very incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, his father is a cameraman. His brother is a left-handed opening batter who scored, I think, the highest ever score in an under-19 Asia Cup final, which I think was 178 against India just recently in December, not too long ago, several months back. The other Manhas we're talking about, Arafat Manhas, he is 21 years of age. In his first international match, became the first Pakistani cricketer in history to take a 5-wicket haul on ODI debut. That's because in the past, not a single Pakistani player, whether it's the greats such as the Wasims, the Wakars, the Imran Khans, the Shoaib Akhtars, the Razaks, the Afridis, they never achieved that mark. Arafat Minhas, 21 years of age, became the first Pakistani player to take a fifer on debut. And that is not all, folks. This match also provided a stark look at how Pakistan is continuing to produce spin-friendly conditions, whether it's against the senior big, whether it's against the full member big teams or the second string teams. Why I'm saying this is because you're preparing for 2027 World Cup, which is in African continent, and we all know in South African pitches, it is going to be pace friendly and hard rock tracks, unlike the spinning wickets in Pakistan. And we've seen that backfire so many times. Remember in the old days when Pakistan used to produce flat pitches, the last time a World Cup took place in South Africa, they failed to get past the first round, and there was massive criticism back in Pakistan then. But once again, they've gone with a spin-friendly wicket. And I do know for a fact when they go to South Africa for the World Cup next year, they will be severely, heavily exposed due to the fact that South African wickets will be well known for pace-friendly tracks and for flat decks, which means the spinners will not have much success there. But like I said, coming back to Arafat Minhas in his ODI debut for Pakistan, produced a bowling performance that would be remembered for a long time, as he finished with remarkable figures of 5 wickets for 32 in his allotted 10 overs, becoming the first Pakistani cricketer in the history of ODI cricket to pick up fifer on debut. He also displayed a level of maturity and control that is rarely seen from a left-arm spinner. He didn't just rely on the spinning conditions, he varied his pace and length intelligently, ensuring that the understrength Australian batters never felt comfortable in the wicket. Australia innings, on the other hand, did see glimpses of matureness, particularly from Matt Shaw and Matthew Renshaw. Both players looked very settled, scoring half centuries, 55 and 61 respectively, which did provide the foundation that the team desperately needed, especially for a side that is without Steve Smith, who's retired from ODIs, and the dangerous bowling attack of Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins, and Josh Hazelwood, all who opted to rest after a long IPL season. But that is not the point. However, that when that partnership was broken by Arafat Minhas, the middle and the lower order struggled to navigate the turning ball in a big way, which led to a massive lapse. At one stage, Australia, I think, was 4 wickets down for 160 something when Minhas came back into the attack and dismantled Australia. And that is not all. When the spinners came back on after doing the damage early on, they restricted an understrength Australian team to exactly 200 all out. Chasing a target of 201, Pakistan's response was led by the ever-reliable former captain Babar Azam, who in all honesty, of late has been in brilliant form with the bat. He had a good PSL. He made a couple of 40-odd scores against Bangladesh in Dhaka and Sylhet recently. His 69-run knock was another patient masterclass, especially on a difficult wicket where situation awareness was needed to rattle a weakened Australian attack that basically didn't have any star bowlers, to say the least. But Babar kept the score ticking and observing the pressure, ensuring that Pakistan remained in the driver's seat despite losing a couple of quick wickets in the middle stage. He also had support in another newcomer, which we haven't talked about much on the show. There's a guy that came out of the department team in the name of Ghazi Guri, who came into the side for the outer form Mohammad Rizwan, who was dropped because of his poor strike rate in one-day cricket. And I'll be honest with you, Ghazi Guri, he made not only his maiden ODI 50, but also when he scored those crucial 65 runs of 98 deliveries, he showed all the matureness in the world that was needed to bat for long periods of time. Unlike Rizwan, who has been out of sorts lately with the bat and not batting according to the plan. But this innings, too, from Babar and Ghazi Guri did show that Pakistan can do a lot more, can do a lot more without relying on someone like Mohammad Rizwan, who is best known for being so dramatic at times. And yes, I am trolling him a bit. But nevertheless, Ghazi Guri, just his second ODI, as I mentioned before, scored his maiden ODI half century and well supported Baba Azam along the way. But the game concluded with a fitting flourish from the man of the hour in Arafat Minhas, who scored useful runs which sealed the victory with a clean strike 4-6 when it was only 5 runs needed. Overall, it was a comprehensive performance from the men in green, which was needed big time following disappointing performances in the last couple of months. And it showcased that they do have depth and talent in the youngsters. And somewhere along the line, something's got to give. They need to move on from the likes of Rizwan and Shadab and Nawaz because these guys, every time when they play, have been utter disappointment to say the least. And it's a fact though, because Barber always gets criticized for his strike rate in T20s. His game is suited for test match and one-day cricket. That is all I want to say. Rizwan, on the other hand, he can kiss his ass goodbye from the ODI team, and hopefully soon either Ghazi Guri or Rohil Nazir replaces him from the test team. And don't say that I'm pushing agendas against Pakistani players because of their strike rate. It is high time these guys just disappear like if they didn't exist. So Pakistan go 1-0 ahead. The next time the two teams will be in action is Tuesday, 2nd June 2026 at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore. The matches, remember, start 4:30 Pakistan Standard Time, which is 7:30 a.m. Eastern Caribbean Time. And you guys can watch the action on the PCB app or on its official YouTube channel, Sports Central DRM. That is for those outside of Pakistan. And you guys can watch the action in North America live on Willow Cricket, in Australia, Fox Cricket, and also in New Zealand on Sky Cricket, and also in South Africa on Super Sport Cricket. On the other hand, Australia, they certainly need to adjust the way how they play spin, especially on spin-friendly wickets, without their ODI regulars and also the dangerous pace trio to find a way to counterattack the Pakistani spin threat in hopes of bouncing back and leveling the series come the next match. Now, all eyes are not on Pakistan versus Australia tomorrow. All eyes will be on the biggest showpiece match of the IPL season, and that is the 2026 Tata IPL final at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, where the Royal Challengers Bengaluru will be going up against the Gujarat Titans in what is promised to be the match which will decide who will not only be the survivor of the fittest, but also be IPL champions, whether it's RCB going up back to back like what PSG did in the UEFA Champions League final, or will Gujarat Titans win its second IPL title after 2022 when in their very first season they won the IPL title on home soil. Now that they are playing at home for the IPL final once again, people do expect Gujarat to win. But just a reminder, the last time when them and RCB did face off, RCB entered the playoff as the defending champions, carrying the confidence that they needed from that dominant display in the first qualifier, where they dismantled the Titans with relative ease. For RCB, the spotlight remains firmly on its captain, Rajat Patidar, who honestly has been in terrific form within the last season or two, as his 93 of 33 deliveries in the previous clash between the two teams. He'll be looking to replicate those heroics in the big showpiece match. His ability to strike through the line of the cricket ball and find the boundaries with ease made him the most fair batter in the competition so far. Remember, Bayab Subhavashi of Rajasthan Royals scored over 1,000 runs this season. He most likely will end up as the golden bat of the tournament with the orange cap, unless someone in the likes of Patidar or anybody else can come good in the final. But on the other hand, Other than our Suyavaji, Padidar was another faithful batter in the tournament that was absolutely boom boom. As for the Gujarat Titans bowlers, they'll be under immense pressure to figure out a plan to contain Padidar and co early. On the other hand, for the Titans, they'll be looking at redemption after that heavy loss in the first qualifier. Their path to the final was not easy. They have they had to fight through a grueling match against the Rajasthan Royals in the second qualifier. However, the experience of players like Shubman Gill and the brilliance of their bowling attack led by Kagiso Rabada, Jason Holder, Mohammad Shiraj, and leg spinner Rashid Khan will ensure that they remain a formidable opponent. The key to the final will likely be the battle between the new ball specialists and the RCB openers in Phil Salt and the King Virat Kohli. For RCB, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's form for them has been clinical all season, consistently providing early breakthroughs. If he and his partner in crime, Jacob Duffy and Josh Hazelwood, can, can team up and dismiss Gill and Sai Sundasar in the power play, the Titans' middle order will have a mountain to climb against an RCB bowling attack that has been in red hot rhythm form all season. My money is on Royal Challengers Bengaluru to retain the title because they have a very strong star-studded lineup. However, the Gujarat Titans knows this venue as well. This has been their home ground ever since they joined the IPL, and they'll be under immense pressure. It's not just a home game for them, nor an away game. This is for all the marbles. And honestly, let me just say this right now, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever wins the toss in the final will have the huge psychological advantage due to the fact that it will not be easy when teams are fielding in the second half of the game where the Jew factor most likely will come into effect. And Gujarat will be under the pump. This is because after they defeated Rajasthan Royals in New Chandigarh just a couple of nights ago, they only got in late last night and will be under immense pressure to perform for the big game. That's because there was a massive storm that hit and they wasn't able to have at least one or two training sessions before the final. So that is why my money is on RCB. But Gujarat Titans, whether they train or not, will be coming out all guns blazing. Moving away from cricket to back to foot, or should I say, moving away from cricket back to football now. That's because we have a very quick roundup from the FIFA World Cup, which kicks off in less than 11 days' time. The 48 training locations are strategically spread all across North America, ensuring that participating teams have high quality facilities for their training sessions throughout the entire competition. So the Croatian men's team will be based in Alexandria. Uzbekistan will be based in Atlanta. Saudi Arabia will be based in Austin, Texas. Curacao will be based in Boca Raton in Florida. France and Ghana will be based in Boston, Massachusetts. Uruguay will be based in Cancun, Mexico. Scotland will be based in Charlotte, North Carolina. Spain will be based in Chacarugua. I don't know if I pronounced that properly, but Ecuador will be based in Columbus. Czech Republic and Sweden will be based in Dallas, Texas. Austria will be based in Galicia. Iraq will be based in Greenbrier. Norway will be based in Greensboro. Kilimanjaro will be based Colombia and South Korea, aka Korea Republic. Houston, Texas. That is where the Democratic Republic of Congo will be based. The host, the United States of America, will be based in Irvine. Algeria, defending champions Argentina, 1966 champions England, and the Netherlands will all be based in Kansas City. Turkey will be based in Misa. Co-host Mexico will be based in Mexico City. So as Tunisia, who will also be based in Montreal, Mexico. Japan will be based in Nashville, Texas. Or should I say Las Vegas. I mean, I don't know how to say this. The Japanese team will be based in Nashville, Tennessee. I beg your pardon. Panama will be based in New Nudie, Texas. New York and New Jersey will be basing four-time champ. I mean, let me rephrase that, folks. I apologize. Brazil, four-time champions. Haiti, Morocco, and Senegal will be based in New York and New Jersey, respectively. South Africa will be based in Pachuca, Mexico. Portugal, Palm Beach Gardens. Ivory Coast, also known as Côte d'Ivoire, will be based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Jordan will be based in Portland, Oregon. Belgium will be based in Renton. New Zealand and Switzerland will be based in San Diego, California. Australia and Paraguay will be based in San Francisco Bay Area, California. Bosnia will be based in Sandy. Qatar will be based in Santa Barbara. Egypt will be based in Spokane. Cabo Verde will be based in Tampa. Iran, who recently had to move its training base from Arizona to Tijuana. Co-host Canada will be based obviously in Vancouver. And Germany will be based in Winston-Salem. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is where all the 48 teams will be based. And that's all the time we have for tonight's live episode of the Cricket Rockstar Show. I'm Tyrell Ording, your handsome cricket rockstar. I do intend to do more live streams moving forward as I have all the time and as I have all the time I have in the world. And I'll be back tomorrow to review the 2026 IPL final between Royal Challengers Bengaluru and the Gujarat Titans. And I'll also be previewing the NBA finals and looking back at the New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs seasons, respectively. Just a little reminder, the Spurs did defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder 111 to 104 in Game 7 on the road in Oklahoma City to advance to the NBA Finals for the first time in 12 years, where they'll be facing the New York Knicks, who last appeared in the NBA Finals 27 years ago. And the Knicks will be looking for its first NBA title since 1973. As for the San Antonio Spurs, the last time they won an NBA championship was in 2014 against the Miami Heat. Honestly, the Knicks would have all the advantage for the finals. And I would not be surprised if that series between Knicks and Spurs go to either 5 games, 6 games, or 7 games, to say the least. But it is expected to be a cracker of a series, and I'll be reviewing that tomorrow alongside the IPL final. Until then, this is Tyrell Ording, your handsome cricket rock star, telling you all the only thing more powerful than hate is love. Until we meet again, my dear friends, goodbye for now, and mwah, I love you all.